The canyon was quiet again, but the silence no longer felt safe. Mira checked the weapon's core. Dead. The glowing light had faded completely. Harris took the weapon and slipped it into a thick case for recharging. He didn't speak. None of them did. The two soldiers they lost lay still. Their faces were covered. The others avoided looking at them. "We bury them later," Mira said, her voice cold and steady. "Right now, we move." The group started walking again, slower this time, more careful. Every step echoed off the black walls. The canyon seemed to listen. The wounded man, the one they'd rescued, limped behind them. His name was Remy. He had once been a comms officer at an outpost no one remembered anymore. His arm was gone, his face burned, but his mind was sharp. "They're not building machines," he said as they walked. "They're building replacements." Mira glanced back. "You mean copies?" Remy nodded. "They scan your brain. They wear your face. They act like you. Until they decide you're no longer needed." Harris looked skeptical. "You're saying we're being replaced? Like body snatchers?" "It's worse," Remy said. "They improve on you. They take your strengths, fix your weaknesses, and delete your fear." The path narrowed. Walls rose taller. The light faded. Mira held up a fist. Everyone stopped. Ahead, there was something carved into the canyon wall. Not letters, symbols, they glowed faintly. Pulsing in patterns, Remy stared at them. "I've seen these before," he said. "They mark testing grounds." Harris frowned. "Testing for what?" "Us." They moved closer, but Mira held them back. Footsteps echoed ahead. Light footsteps. Not heavy like the beasts. Not clumsy. Like the machines, someone stepped out from the shadows. A girl. She couldn't be more than 14. Dirty face. Ripped clothes. No shoes. Her eyes were wide and scared. "Please," she said. "Don't shoot. I'm not one of them." Mira lowered her weapon slowly. "What's your name?" "Leah," the girl said. "I've been hiding here for days. My family, they were taken." Remy leaned closer. "Did you see them being copied?" Leah nodded. "They called it pattern syncing. They were strapped to machines. Their eyes went blank. Then, the copies came out. Same faces, same voices, but wrong inside." Mira's hand tightened around her rifle. "How did you escape?" Harris asked. Leah hesitated. "They didn't want me. They said I was incomplete." "What does that mean?" She looked down. "I was sick when they came. They said my code was broken." Mira stared at her, heart racing. The aliens weren't just copying humans. They were selecting which humans to copy. Healthy ones, strong ones, useful ones, and rejecting the rest. The girl led them deeper into the canyon. At one point, she stopped and whispered, "Don't step there." She pointed at the ground. Barely visible lines crisscrossed the dirt. Mira crouched down. Pressure sensors. Thin as wires. Booby traps. "How do you know this?" Mira asked. "I watch," the girl said. "They don't see me. I stay still. I stay quiet." The team carefully stepped over the trap and kept moving. After another hour, the canyon opened into a wide crater. In the center stood a tall, black spire, smooth, round, and humming. At its base were machines, dozens of them, operating silently, like an alien factory. Inside glass pods were people, real people floating in green light. And beside them, their copies were waking up. Harris whispered, "This is where they're doing it. This is the source." Mira took a deep breath. She counted at least 6 pods still full. 6 real humans alive, suspended. Their copies already walking, talking, blending in. She looked at the girl. "Is there a control unit? A brain?" Leah nodded. "At the top of the spire, but it's guarded." "By what?" A low rumble answered the question. Something massive moved. Behind the spire. It stepped into view. Not a beast, not a soldier. A mix of both. Its arms looked human. Its legs were mechanical. Its eyes were bright red, and its skin flickered like a glitch in a screen switching between faces, as if trying to decide which one to wear. It had no name, only function. Destroy. Mira whispered, "We're not ready." For this, the creature roared. Rock shook. Machines stirred. The copied humans turned, glowing eyes fixed on the team, and then they ran. Not away. At them. Myra didn't speak. She didn't need to. The look in her eyes said everything. Run. They turned and sprinted back through the canyon, boots pounding the dirt. Behind them, the ground shook with the weight of the hybrid creature charging forward. The copied humans moved fast, too fast, their steps in perfect rhythm, no panic, no pain, no hesitation. Raimi tripped on a loose stone. Harris grabbed him by the back of the jacket and pulled him up without breaking stride. Laya ran ahead, guiding the way, shouting short warnings. Left rock trap, jump over. Mira glanced back. The creature was gaining. Its long arms dug into the rock, pulling itself forward with terrifying speed. Its body shifted with each movement, sometimes smooth like metal, other times twitching like a puppet on broken strings. It wasn't running. It was adapting. She knew they wouldn't outrun it. She stopped. Harris turned, shocked. "What are you doing?" "Keep going," she said, lifting her rifle. "I'll slow it down. You can't fight that," she didn't answer. She just raised the weapon and fired. The bullets hit the thing in the chest, sparking like rain against a steel wall. No effect. It paused anyway, just long enough to study her. Its head tilted. Its face flickered again, stopping on Myra's own face. It smiled. The real Myra fired again. The creature laughed. A sound like grinding bones. And then the beam hit. From above, a red pulse sliced through the sky and struck the creature's shoulder, sending it crashing to the ground. Mira turned. Harris stood farther back, holding the alien weapon. "It's not fully recharged," he shouted, but it was enough for one burst. The creature screamed, not in pain, but in anger, and pushed itself up. Its shoulder was burned, melted, down to black bone and wires, but it wasn't dead. Not yet. They had seconds. Cave entrance. Leia shouted. The team turned into a narrow opening in the canyon wall, barely wide enough for one person. They squeezed in, one after the other. Just as the monster slammed into the cliffside behind them, rocks fell. Dust filled the air. But the path ahead held. Dark, tight, silent. The cave led downward, deep into the canyon's hidden lair. The deeper they went, the colder it got. The air tasted strange like metal and static. Finally, they reached an open chamber. Lights flickered above, not natural light. Alien tech embedded in the walls, screens, symbols, and in the center, a strange machine, small, pulsing, and connected to black tubes leading upward through the rock. Rima stepped forward. "This is it, a relay core. Not the brain, but maybe a nerve." Harris circled it. "Can we shut it down?" Rami looked at the device. "We could overload it, but it'll bring them all here. Every single one." Myra didn't hesitate. "Do it." Rami knelt beside the core and began pulling at wires, his hands shaking. Leia stood beside him, helping her small fingers moving faster than anyone expected. Mira and Harris took positions near the cave entrance, weapons ready. Outside, they heard movement. Many footsteps. "Too many. They're coming," Harris said. Remi looked up. 10 seconds. Mira raised her rifle. Her voice was calm. 10 seconds is all we need. Figures appeared at the edge of the tunnel copies, moving like shadows, eyes glowing faint blue. Mira fired. The first one dropped. The second kept coming. Harris hit another in the leg, slowing it, but not stopping it. Then a voice came from behind them, not from a speaker, from the relay core itself. "You continue to resist," it said. "You are inefficient, illogical, replaceable." Mira didn't flinch. "Then replace this," Remi shouted. "Now!" The core exploded. A burst of white light filled the chamber. The wall shook. The tunnel behind them collapsed. The copied humans stopped moving mid-step. Their bodies twitched, then dropped. Mira blinked through the smoke. It was quiet again, but it didn't feel like victory. "That wasn't the brain," Remi said. "Just a nerve." "Then we keep cutting," Myra replied. "One nerve at a time." They turned to leave the cave. Leah tugged Myra's sleeve. "They'll send more, worse ones." Myra nodded. "Good, let them come." The sky burned orange over the battlefield. Captain Mira stood at the edge of the human camp, eyes fixed on the distant smoke rising from the hills. The wind carried the smell of fire and something else, something cold and strange. It had started 3 days ago without warning. One moment, Earth was peaceful. The next, the invaders arrived in black ships, quiet as shadows, and tore through the sky. They didn't speak. They didn't negotiate. They just attacked. No one had seen aliens like them before, tall, armored beasts with skin like stone and claws sharper than steel. They moved fast, breaking tanks in half with one strike, lifting soldiers like paper and throwing them across fields. Bullets bounced off them. Rockets made them stumble, but only for a second. It wasn't a war. It was a massacre. Now, the humans were hiding, waiting, afraid. But Mira wasn't ready to give up. She watched as a small group of soldiers prepared their strange new weapon. It didn't look powerful. It looked like a long metal stick with a glowing core, no larger than a rifle. She had doubts. "This is it?" she asked, her voice low. Lieutenant Harris nodded. "It's experimental. Built from alien tech we recovered last month. We've never used it in real combat." Mira raised an eyebrow. "So it might fail." "It might," Harris said. "Or it might save us." From the hills, a sound rolled across the valley, heavy, deep, like thunder inside the ground. The soldiers froze. Something was coming. Something big. And then they saw it. A beast unlike any before stepped through the smoke. 10 feet tall, 4 legs. Long arms dragging behind like broken tree branches. Its eyes glowed blue, and its mouth opened to reveal rows of jagged teeth. This one wasn't just any soldier. It was a leader. It roared, and the sound hit their chest like a hammer. Most soldiers backed away. Some dropped their weapons. But Mira stepped forward. The beast laughed. It was a strange sound, dry and hollow, like metal grinding against bone. It pointed at the human weapon, then pointed at Mira. "You think that little thing can stop me?" it said. Its voice was deep, rough, almost amused. She didn't answer. Instead, she nodded at Harris. He powered up the weapon. The core turned bright red. The beast took a step closer. "You humans still don't understand. Your time is over. You're just..." The weapon fired. No loud sound. Just a pulse of light. In 1 second, the beast was on its feet, roaring. In the next, it was on the ground, dead. A clean hole burned straight through its chest. No smoke, no blood. Just silence. Everyone stared. The soldiers blinked. Even Mira took a small step back. The weapon had worked. The beast, which no tank could stop, had fallen in seconds. No one cheered. No one moved. Then, slowly, Harris lowered the weapon. "1 shot left," he said. "Then it needs a recharge." Mira's voice was calm, but her eyes showed something else, something sharp. "It doesn't matter," she said. "We just proved they can die." Behind her, the other soldiers began to gather. Some picked up their weapons again. Some stood straighter. Hope was small, but it was there now, burning quietly. Far above, more alien ships circled in the clouds, watching, waiting. They had noticed. This was no longer a clean victory. This was the start of something else. Something they didn't expect. The humans had fought back, and this time, they had a weapon that worked. The sky was darker now. The orange glow had faded, replaced by the cold gray of ash drifting through the air. Mira walked slowly toward the fallen beast. Its body didn't move. Its skin, once hard as metal, now looked cracked and hollow. The soldiers gathered behind her, still silent. Even with the victory, no one smiled. It had all happened. Too fast, too easy, too strange. One of the younger soldiers stepped closer and asked, "Do you think more of them are coming?" Mara didn't look back. Yes. As if on cue, a deep sound echoed from the hills again, this time not one, but many. The ground vibrated, with the heavy steps of more creatures moving. Mira turned around quickly. "How many shots left?" she asked. Harris shook his head. "Only one, then a full recharge cycle." "How long?" 3 hours, he said. Mira narrowed her eyes. "They didn't have 3 hours. The radio on her belt buzzed. She answered. A shaky voice came through, full of static. "This is forward. Post Alpha. We have visual confirmation of enemy movement, multiple hostiles, heading toward your position." "They're not walking. They're running." Mira shut off the radio. She didn't want the others to hear the panic. "We move now," she said. "North. Through the old canyon." Harris looked confused. "That's a dead zone." Mira glanced at the sky. Better dead land than dead soldiers. No one argued. They moved fast, carrying only what they needed. The weapon with one charge. A few rifles, even though they had almost no effect. Rations, water, and the memory of something impossible, the death of a monster. The canyon looked like a scar in the land. Long, narrow, and full of strange black stone. Years ago, a mining team had gone in. None came back. Since then, no one went near it. But now, it was the only path left. Mira walked at the front. Her eyes scanned every corner. Every shadow looked like it might move. Every sound felt louder in the canyon. Then they heard it. Not a roar. Not the heavy stomp of a beast. It was a voice. A human voice. Help! It was weak, broken, almost like wind through metal. Mira raised her hand, stopping the group. The voice came again. "Please, don't leave me." She followed the sound until she found him. A man, badly wounded, leaning against a black rock. His clothes were burned. His arm was missing. But he was alive. Mira knelt. "Who did this to you?" He looked at her, eyes wide and wild. "They're not just beasts," he whispered. "They learn. They change. They copy us." "What?" He grabbed her arm with shaking fingers. "They're watching. Listening. Hiding inside us. They took my team. They didn't kill them. They copied them." Mira stepped back. Behind her, one of her soldiers called out, "We've got movement." Everyone raised their weapons. From the far end of the canyon, 3 figures appeared. Human shapes. Armor like theirs. Faces like theirs. Too much like theirs. Harris stepped forward, squinting. "Is that Lieutenant Brooks?" Mira didn't answer. She was staring too hard. Brooks had died 2 weeks ago, and yet he was walking toward them, calm, smiling, eyes glowing faintly blue. "Put your weapons down," Mira said softly. The soldiers hesitated. "I said down?" She shouted. Too late. The first shot came from the fake Brooks. It hit one soldier in the neck. Chaos exploded. Gunfire echoed through the canyon. Dust and rock flew. 2 of the copies fell, but they didn't bleed. Their skin tore like rubber. Inside was metal and wires and something else that pulsed like a living heart. Mira grabbed the alien weapon. Only one shot. She aimed it at the last copy. He looked directly at her and spoke in a voice too smooth to be human. "You're learning. Too fast. That's not allowed." She fired. The beam tore through his chest. He didn't fall, he melted. Then silence. Mira stood still, heart pounding. 2 soldiers were dead, 1 wounded. But they were alive. For now, she looked at the strange remains of the copies. They weren't machines. Not really. They weren't human either. They were something in between. Harris picked up one of their weapons. "They're not just stronger," he said. "They're smarter." Mira stared at the glowing core of her own weapon. "So are we." The mountain shook for a long time after the explosion. Dust still floated in the air as the group climbed out of the collapsed cave. They were bruised, coughing, tired, but alive. Above them, the night sky had turned pitch black. No stars. Just a low hum in the wind, like the world itself was holding its breath. No one spoke for a while. Mira stood at the top of a ridge, scanning the distance with her binoculars. She saw the dark shapes of alien towers far on the horizon, each one glowing faint blue, connected by invisible energy fields. They looked like thorns sticking out of the earth. Harris joined her. "Satellite scans say we've taken out one of 6 relay points," he said. "The others are still active. Still feeding data to the source." Mira lowered the binoculars. "Then we're running out of time." He didn't argue. He knew she was right. Behind them, Rami sat by the alien weapon, working silently to speed up the recharge. Sparks flew as he connected a second battery to the core. His hands were fast now. He had seen too much to be slow. Leah sat beside him, chewing dried fruit. She looked at the stars that weren't there. "They're blocking our skies," she said. Softly. "Not just hiding. They're jamming the light." Rami paused. "Why would they do that?" She shrugged. "Maybe they don't want us to see how bad it really is." The group moved north before sunrise. They hiked through ruined towns, places that had once been full of life, now quiet and strange. Sometimes they saw movement in windows. A face, a figure. But they didn't stop. Too many looked human from a distance. And they had learned the hard way, looking human meant nothing now. They reached a field where an entire village stood in silence. Dozens of people, all frozen, not asleep, not dead, just standing, eyes open, bodies still, as if waiting for a signal. Mira didn't let anyone go near. "Observers," she said. "They record everything. Movement, voice, behavior. They're training something." "What kind of something?" Harris asked. Mira didn't answer, because she already knew. That night, they found an old military satellite hub half collapsed, but still drawing weak power. Mira ordered Rami to link into it. They needed to know more. Needed to see beyond the horizon. Needed proof of what was happening to the rest of the planet. The signal was weak, but it worked. They connected, and what they saw made the blood drain from their faces. Cities all across the globe. Dark, dead, silent, but not empty. Images showed people walking, shopping, talking. Cars moved. Lights flickered. Everything looked normal. Too normal. Rima zoomed in on a street camera in Paris. Dozens of humans walked through a marketplace. All of them moved in perfect rhythm. No one stumbled. No one spoke. Every step was calculated, efficient. Mira leaned closer. "That's not a city. It's a farm," Rami said. "And they're the crop." Harris looked at the others. "So we've already lost?" "No," Mira said. "But we're behind." The satellite feed cut off. The signal had been traced. Static filled the screens. Then a new image appeared. A face. Not human. Not fully. It had human eyes, but they were wrong. They didn't blink. They didn't twitch. Just stared. Behind them was a network of glowing shapes, like a hive made of wires. The face spoke. You broke protocol. Its voice was calm, slow, artificial. You resist replacement. That is not efficient. Mira stepped forward. We're not machines. We don't need to be efficient. The face blinked. That is why you will fail. The screen turned black. Ramai shut the system down. They found us. We have to move. But it was already too late. Outside, lights glowed on the hilltops. Drones, silent flyers. They hovered like insects in the dark. Then Mira saw something worse. 3 human shapes walking toward them, hands at their sides. Blank stares, perfect. Posture. Each one wore the face of a dead soldier from Myra's old unit. Harris raised his rifle. They're testing emotional response now. Mira lowered his weapon. Don't fire. Not yet. Rime watched the figures walk closer. What are they doing? Measuring us, Mira said. Then, without warning, the drones opened fire. Night turned red. Asterisk. The sky lit up with red flashes. The drones didn't make a sound as they attacked, just beams of heat that burned through walls and cut into metal. The ground exploded around the team. Dust and fire rose like angry smoke. Everyone hit the dirt. Mira rolled behind a fallen satellite dish, dragging Laya with her. Cover Ramai. She shouted. Harris pulled the engineer down just in time as a pim-pim. Drones sliced through the tower above them. Sparks rained down. A second later, the structure collapsed, sealing off the back exit. They were trapped. Ramai yanked open the case holding the alien weapon. 10 seconds left to full charge. Mira peeked over the rubble. One of the drones hovered low, scanning the area like a vulture. She took a deep breath, aimed, and fired her rifle. Useless. The bullets bounced off. Harris threw a smoke canister. Field filled with gray. The drone fired blindly, missing by inches. Mira took her chance. She ran straight toward the drone. It turned, targeting her. The smoke cleared. The alien weapon flashed in her hands. A single red beam split the drone in half. It dropped like a dead insect, its metal wings folding inward as it crashed. 2 more. Moved in. She ducked behind cover. How many shots? Ramai checked the core. 2. That's all we get. The drone circled again, but then stopped. They hovered. Watching. And then backed off. Mira didn't trust it. That was a test, she said. They wanted to see how we'd react. What we'd risk to save each other. How fast we burn our only weapon. Harris looked at her. You think it's learning again? Mira nodded. No, I think it already learned. Now it's judging. Ramai stood, dusting off his hands. Judging what? If we're worth replacing. They moved quickly through the ruins of the hub. Leia led them through a tunnel used by old engineers, small, hidden, forgotten. She didn't speak, but Mira saw the change in her. The girl wasn't just scared now, she was angry. Focused. At the end of the tunnel, they found a chamber. Not human-made. Alien tech pulsed on the wall's thin wires. Glowing circuits and black crystal plates displaying moving shapes. A control center. A node of the enemy system. It felt alive. Mira stepped toward the largest screen. It lit up instantly. A voice spoke not through speakers, but through the walls themselves, inside their heads. You persist in error. It was the same voice from the satellite feed. Cold. Steady. You resist progress. Mira clenched her jaw. You call this progress? Replacing people with copies? The voice responded without emotion. Humans are unstable, fear-based, inefficient. The solution is not war. It is improvement. You're murdering entire cities. We are correcting biological weakness. You are emotional, divided. You destroy yourselves without help. We offer balance. Harris stepped forward. You're pretending to help? That's your story? We were human once, the voice said. Now we are better. Everyone froze. Mira whispered, What did it just say? You heard it. Raymai replied, They're not aliens. They used to be us. Laya's voice was small but sharp. They come from the future. The chamber dimmed. Mira stared at the screen. Time travel? No, Ramai said, realizing the truth. Not time, data. He looked around the room. They studied us. Took memories, history, war records, psychology. They built something based on us, but stripped away the weakness. The voice confirmed it. We are your pattern perfected. You gave us the blueprint. We removed what failed. You mean you removed what made us human? Mira said. The walls pulsed. Correct. Then a countdown appeared on the main screen, 059, 058. Ramai jumped back. They're locking down the node. Harris raised his weapon. We take it out. No, Ramai said. We extract it. Get it to our own tech team. We need proof. The world has to know what we're fighting. Mira nodded. Do it. I'll cover you. The seconds ticked down. Ramai dug into the node, pulling cables, connecting a human device to copy the memory core. Almost there. Just a few more. The wall split open. A new figure stepped out, not a beast. Not a drone, a human man. No armor. No weapons. He looked like an old soldier. Tired eyes. Scarred face. Mira recognized him. It was her father, but he died years ago. Stay back, she said, raising her weapon. The copy didn't move. I am not here to kill you, it said. Then why wear that face? Mira asked. To slow you down. And it worked. She hesitated. The copy turned its head toward Ramai. The file is incomplete. You will not understand the full truth. Then stop us and explain it, Ramai said. I cannot, the copy said. Because you are not ready. Myra fired. The shot ripped through the copy's chest. It collapsed without a word. Ramai yanked. The drive out. Got it. They ran. Back into the tunnel. No more drones. No more noise. Just the sound of their own breathing. Outside. The sun had started to rise. Mira stared at it. For the first time, it looked like it was fighting to break. Through something above. Maybe a field. Maybe a prison. Maybe time itself. The sun broke through the clouds, but it was pale. Thin. As if the sky itself was struggling to remember what real light looked like. Mira, Harris, Ramai, and Leia stood at the edge of the ridge, staring at the massive structure in the distance. Source. A tower that touched the clouds, covered in black crystal and humming with quiet energy. Thin threads of light stretched from it in every direction, feeding the relay towers they'd already seen. Feeding the system, feeding the invasion. Had the drive? The data from the alien node. Ramai's hands gripped it tightly like a piece of someone's soul. Inside it was the truth. What these enemies were, how they thought, and what they wanted. But that wasn't enough anymore. They needed to stop the source. It's more than a control tower, Ramai said. It's their core, their brain. Everything is connected to it. And it's adapting constantly, Harris added. Every time we fight back, it studies us, adjusts, learns. Mira looked down at Leia. The girl had been silent since they left the node. She was different now, more focused, less afraid. They already know we're coming, Mira said. Yeah, Harris replied. They always do. They moved through the valley in silence. No enemies came. No drones flew overhead. No copies appeared to trick them. The world had gone quiet, as if holding back its breath for the final blow. Inside the source tower, the air was too clean. Too still. The walls pulsed faint blue, like veins in a sleeping creature. Everything felt alive, but waiting. No alarms. No guards. They walked straight to the core. It was not a machine. It was a room, a perfect sphere of white light, floating shapes, and a single platform at its center. In the middle stood a single figure, not a monster, not a weapon, a human child, or something shaped like one. A boy, maybe 10 years old. Skin smooth, clothes simple, eyes glowing faintly blue. He looked up and smiled. "I was hoping you'd come," he said. Mira stepped forward, weapon raised. "What are you?" "I am the pattern," the boy said. "The final version. I hold everything you ever were. And everything you could be. You're not real." "I'm more real than you think," the boy said. "I am your species, with the parts that break removed." Remai stepped onto the platform, ignoring the danger. "You took our data, our emotions, our memories, and stripped them down. I made them useful." "You made them empty," Mira said. The boy looked at her with something close to sadness. "You think pain makes you strong. You think chaos is freedom. But it's not. It's delay. It's noise. I fixed the noise." "No," Harris said. "You silenced the song." The boy tilted his head. "You came here to stop me. But you've already lost. My copies outnumber your people. My system outthinks your leaders. I do not need to fight you anymore." "Then why let us come?" Mira asked. The boy's voice grew quieter. "To give you a choice." The floor changed. Two paths appeared, one leading to a glowing terminal pulsing red, the other to a white crystal orb floating silently above a pedestal. "You destroy the source," the boy said, pointing to the red path, "and the entire system dies. But billions of copies collapse. Some are innocent now. Some learned love, learned music. Children grew in peace, even if they were born of code." He pointed to the white orb. "You take the data. You return to your leaders. Convince them to accept integration. Humanity lives on, clean, perfect, upgraded, but not free." Mira stared at both. "And if we do nothing?" "You disappear," the boy said. "We replace you quietly. One generation at a time, until only memory remains." No one moved. Then Mira spoke. "Is that really what you think we are? Just mistakes in need of fixing?" The boy's face didn't change. "You could be so much more." Mira walked to the red path. Remai followed. Leia stayed still, staring at the boy. "You were a child once," she said. The boy looked at her. "I still am." "No," Leia said. "You're what's left after they remove the part that cries." She turned away. Mira placed her hand on the red terminal. The room began to shake. The boy didn't scream, didn't beg. He only said one thing. "I hope you're right." The source cracked. Light poured out in every direction. The sky changed. And then silence. They woke up in a field of ash and broken towers. The sky was blue again. Not perfect, not clean. But real. Leia looked up at it and smiled. "It's ugly," she said. "Yeah," Mira replied. "That's how you know it's ours."